What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my kitchen setup, this cabinet that I built recently in the camper, and also my electrical and sink system. So let's get the camper popped up and we'll start talking about the build out. Woo! And I'm sorry in advance, this is going to be a long-winded video of me talking a lot, explaining things. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Hopefully this is going to end up being informative to watch and not just super boring. But anywho, let's get to it. So here we are in the inside of the camper. A lot has changed since the last video. Ended up finishing all my siding. I think it turned out really nice. And it goes all the way up to the front of the cab over. And these laminate sheets were great. Still have plenty of room for the bed to slide out on either side. And here is the topic of today's video. So I spent the last few weeks building this cabinet with my neighbor and friend, Mike. He's an amazing carpenter, and I couldn't have built this all myself to this caliber without his help. So thank you so much, Mike, for guiding me and teaching me a bunch about making a cabinet that's beautiful and that's gonna work really well in the truck. So I'll give you guys a tour of everything we put into it and how it all works. So starting out with the basics, this thing's about 3 feet tall and 4 feet long. So it's gonna give me plenty of space to cook in here if I need to, and have plenty of storage for my camp stove and pantry things. Design points I wanted to hit when we were building this. I wanted 2 pull-out drawers and some shelving space so I can do some electrical and then have plenty of room for camping stuff or stoves, whatever it may be. And then on this side, I wanted open space to store water and have a sink on top. Because when I was living in my truck before in a normal camper shell, like a normal small shell, the biggest comfort value that I wanted in something new to build was a place where I could fill up my water bottles, wash my hands in the camper. So a sink was a major thing I wanted to include in this build. It's entirely constructed of 3/4 inch plywood. I got the nice stuff, 13 ply. Yeah, here's that 13 ply plywood, Baltic birch, and then I stained it that walnut color. Stainless steel sink, little bit of a backsplash, and then it has a maple face frame. The drawers pull out, and they're even on those slow nesting slides. And same thing with the doors. And I clear coated everything with a water-based coating. It's the General Finishes satin coat. Clear coat. I think it turned out really nice. The 4-foot length of this cabinet became a real headache when we started to incorporate the wheel well into the build. It was a huge pain to deal with, and there's probably a million ways to build a cabinet around a wheel well, and this is the way that we did it, and it seems to work out really well. I'll include some pictures and little clips and videos of us building it. I didn't do a full build video because Mike was teaching me how to build this thing, and I didn't want to be that guy that was just filming him the whole time. So I got some clips that I'll include here and there, and some still photographs I'll do some voiceovers on. But generally what we did, we wanted to push the cabinet as far back against the wall as possible So we had to build the cabinet itself and then cut a big notch in the back that will incorporate this bed rail, and then also do some crazy trimming and tracing to incorporate the wheel well. When you open up the inside, you can see that we essentially had to make a huge hole in the cabinet to incorporate that wheel well. Our plan for mounting was to mount through the bed rail of the truck and then into the floor. Also, we have a toe kick, which is pretty sick. Anywho, so we cut the whole cabinet in half and then put in this piece of wood, screwed and glued, and then through bolted through the bed rail, and it made this thing really solid. So we have 2 bolts on this side and 2 bolts you can't really see on this side. I'll talk to you a little bit about how I did the sink setup. The sink is just a stainless steel, it's like 1.5 foot by, I don't know, 18 inches stainless steel sink. And this faucet and water pump are by the company Sailflow. And Sailflow is a sailboat sink and pump company. You can get a lot of stuff from the maritime industry that translates over really well to camper stuff. So don't be afraid to do some research at West Marine or any other sailboat and motorboat oriented shops for camper needs. So the way I ran my sink setup, I've got my old water tank, just a 5-gallon jug that has some hose going into it, and the hose fits perfectly down this little spout. These are the Spectre brand jugs. You can get them on Amazon for like 40 bucks each. I think they're really awesome. So 5 gallons here of fresh water, and that's running to this 12-volt pump, and then the pump in, out, and up to the sink here. I added this little wiener to the end because this pump actually shoots pretty hard and it almost splashes out of the sink. So this little wiener gets it pushed down. And then the drain is a 2-inch drain, and that drains straight into the side of this gray water tank. And I just cut a hole, and you just make sure the hole is just snug, a little bit smaller than the hose, so you can wedge it in there and no water will come out. Same thing with this one, so I don't have any leaking issues. And then the last step I need to do for this is to strap these down so they're not rattling around. I'll show you guys what's up right now. So this is pretty empty, but I'll turn it on and show you guys how this thing works. Keep this open. So like I said, there's not much water in that tank right now, but then it drains right in there. If that was a full water tank, which it probably should have filled up for the video, but it does a consistent, nice stream. It's not like crappy like that, but it works pretty good. So that's how the water pump works, and now I'll show you how that pump is wired and powered up to my house battery, which very simple setup. So the wiring for this pump, I put an inline 5-volt fuse, and then it'll go down through the wall of the cabinet and down to my AGM battery. So I went with an AGM style battery rather than a lithium battery because I just didn't really have the money to spend on a big lithium battery. They're just way too expensive and out of my price range, but maybe it'll be something I want to upgrade to in the future. But for now, this is what's going to work for me. The battery I use is actually pretty small. It's only a 50 amp hour battery, but I don't plan on drawing too much power. All that I'm powering with this setup is my electric water pump for the sink, a small Harbor Freight inverter to charge my phone or laptop, simple stuff. I'm not even running any lights inside the camper because I feel like little lanterns from REI, battery powered, are so good nowadays. Like 2 of those little battery lanterns will charge or light up my whole camper. And a lot of them are USB charged, and I can charge them off my inverter from Harbor Freight here. And then that's all I'm really drawing power with. I'm not gonna run a cooler yet or an electric fridge. Maybe in the future, we'll have to see, but for this upcoming trip, I'm just gonna run my Yeti cooler. So I'll give you a closer look at the electrical here. So like I said, this is a 50 amp hour marine battery, deep cycle. I've got my water pump labeled here, and then my inverter here. My inverter wires go here, and then this guy is attached to the side of the cabinet. Now this inverter is awesome. It's super low profile, about as big as my hand, and it's probably about $60 or $70 at Harbor Freight. And it's awesome. It does everything that I need. I'll turn it on right now. So it gives me the voltage of my battery, 12.5, which is normal, and then it'll give me an output from what I'm drawing. Obviously, I don't have anything plugged in, so it's not drawing anything. 2 120 just for whatever, and then 2 USB. And for me, that's perfect. When my bed slides out, it ends right here, and it's a perfect place to charge your phone. You'll just sleep right here, and yeah, it's gonna work awesome. And now I'll show you how I charge my battery. So I went with a portable Renogy solar panel, 100 watt. It's their Suitcase kit. I wanted to avoid using any solar panels on my roof. I don't want to commit to that just yet. Maybe in the future I'll add a flexible solar panel, but for now I want to keep the roof as light as possible. So I'm just going to stick with a portable solar panel. And that way you tend to get more usable charge out of a portable panel because you can move it to where the sun is every day. So you can chase that morning sunlight and that afternoon sunlight, when a static solar panel on the roof really only gets direct rays at noon. So I feel like I'm going to actually be able to charge up my battery more often and easier with a portable panel. So with the panel deployed, then I got these 20-foot Igreely cables, and they're wired to MC4 on one end, which is what the Renogy solar panel is connected to, and then on the other end it's an SAE plug, and the SAE I routed to a Zamp Solar flush mount solar connector. And what this does is allows me to plug into my bumper, and then it is connected to my battery and able to charge up. And just like that, we're charging. You can see my battery is 3/4 of the way topped off. keep an eye out for good deals on these Renogy solar panels. Amazon was running a sale, and this was $160 for a solar panel, solar controller, and some wire, you know, alligator clip connectors, which I don't end up using. But yeah, really good deal. I'm really stoked on the quality of this thing. Not a sponsored video. Yeah, bro, get one of these. Sorry for a bit of a long-winded video of me just rambling along. But if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll be sure to get back to you guys soon about it. Okay, thanks for watching. Got a couple more update videos. I'm going to be building a bench seat for the front of this camper. And I also ordered some Desolate Motorsports suspension gear for this thing. So got some truck upgrades coming out too. So stay tuned. Later!